as we head into the 12th round of the F1 2019 season, it appears that there has been complete implosion within Ferrari, and that is the big talking point heading into the Mexican Grand Prix. Ferrari team have officially imploded as they did admit to some serious wrongdoings within their team throughout not only this season, but also last season as well. Ferrari admitted that Max Verstappen was the clear #1 driver, but it didn't say in anyone's contract. So what did it mean by Verstappen being a #1 driver? Is that seriously a wrongdoing? Well, when Verstappen went ahead and signed for Ferrari last season, within the contract, which was never stated but was secretly there within team principals at Ferrari, Verstappen was a #1 driver, and Verstappen would obviously go ahead and lead the Ferrari team. Anything wrong about that? Well, yes. If anyone went ahead and actually beat Verstappen, they would get sacked. They would literally have to play a #2 sporting role. Ferrari knew coming into these new seasons that they were going to be very, very fast and were confident of getting a quick car. So what did they want to do? They wanted to put all their eggs in the basket for Max Verstappen. In last season, Verstappen and Vettel battled hard, but Verstappen ultimately was slightly faster, and that was all fair game. But the crucial one was at the Japanese Grand Prix when Sebastian Vettel was leading the race ahead of Max Verstappen. Ferrari were issuing orders to get Vettel to move out of the way of Verstappen, but Vettel fought him off. Eventually Verstappen had front wing damage later in the race, and Tom overtook him in the Audi and went ahead and won that championship. Heading into this season, Ferrari decided to sign Tom, but once again, they put him as a clear-cut #2 driver. Tom never understood this in his contract, and it was never even stated there. Neither did Sebastian Vettel. And this was their biggest problem. Obviously, since that happened, Tom went ahead and was destroying the competition in the Ferrari. That wasn't stated in the contract. So Ferrari sneakily used at a point when Tom made a rare mistake over the curbs to go ahead and sack him from the team. They then brought in Daniel Ricciardo, but now Daniel Ricciardo is starting to beat Verstappen, and now it's causing complete disarray. And again, Ricciardo didn't want to join Ferrari in the first place. That was his issue, because he was told about this problem by Sebastian Vettel. So Vettel seems to be at the cause of everything here, telling everyone Ferrari are just nowhere to be seen and shouldn't be anywhere near your radar. And from that then, Ricciardo was forced to join Ferrari because after him and the Mercedes crew playing a bit of football, they actually went ahead and kicked the ball and hit the front wing. No damage was done to the Ferrari front wing, but they decided to claim damage for it. So it's all gone up in the air and it's all gone crazy. Ricciardo joined Ferrari, which was again to put him out of his happy mood. Which put him even further out of his happy mood was the fact that he now knew and was warned by the personnels at Ferrari, you beat Verstappen, you're sacked. Simple as that, and you will not have a drive anymore in Formula 1, and we will attempt to sue you for all of the damage that you did with the front wing when playing football. But he didn't even damage the front wing in the first place. So the Ferrari team has officially imploded. There are many team principals of Ferrari and also other team members from Ferrari that are leaving the team. Both Max Verstappen and both Daniel Ricciardo have stated that they are to leave at the end of the season and want nothing to do with the team. The team overall are going ahead and making massive changes. Is this going to put an end to Ferrari in general? No, this won't put an end to Ferrari. Everyone that was involved in this #1, #2 contract situation and became one of the most darkest people in Formula 1 have now been sacked or removed or left because of this media outlet coming on through. Ferrari are now bringing in team personnel that went ahead and supported this decision to not have this go through in the first place. They were actually demoted. So people that said this is wrong, we shouldn't be doing this, were demoted to lower down tiers. Now they're being re-promoted back up into some higher principal working places. Ferrari now for next season have got a big task on their hands. They have now got 2 seats available. Ricciardo and Verstappen don't want anything to do with that team anymore heading into the next year. Now Ferrari need to find 2 drivers that are willing to step up to the team and have full confirmation that they will have equal status and there will be no repercussions if they actually go ahead and be faster than their teammates. That being said then, how is things looking in the practice pointers heading into the Mexican Grand Prix? Well, surprisingly, despite Ferrari's implosion, they're still dominant in the second and third sector of the track. However, Mercedes-Benz are dominating the first sector. This is very, very critical, as throughout the season, with all these problems going on within the teams of Ferrari, they do have the best chassis on the grid, but they've now let Mercedes-Benz take over with the best engine on the grid, when initially Mercedes didn't have a good engine. and now it's costing them. Ferrari may be fastest in the second and third sector, but overall Mercedes-Benz are eligible to keep up with them in the first sector. If Ferrari just had a little bit more power, they'd be able to clean cut this Grand Prix circuit. McLaren is showing some fantastic pace at the Mexican Grand Prix. Qualifying simulation runs don't look the best, but their race pace is looking extremely promising, and they are set to hopefully get a good point scoring finish with Lando Norris and also Stoffel Van Dorn, who is also still looking for a position in Formula 1. Also, Red Bull are set for a lonely race behind the top two teams. Red Bull, of course, are the third fastest team on the grid this year, and it's set that they're pretty much going to be quite lonely. McLaren aren't anywhere near the pace of Red Bull, and Red Bull aren't really anywhere near the pace of Mercedes and Ferrari, so in general, Red Bull could be looking quite lonely, and we'll be hoping for a little bit of an inter-team scrap between the pair of them. Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Fox298 here. Welcome back to a brand new video for you guys today here on the channel. Today we are back with the F1 Journey Part 12 here for the Mexican Grand Prix, and we are getting very close to actually maybe potentially clinching the World Championship. Such has been the poor run of form in the second half of the season for Ferrari, that we are in a very strong position to potentially do so. But anyway, we are here for this Grand Prix, and we're going to be doing obviously qualifying to start with. Now, weirdly actually, normally on my qualifying laps, my second lap is much faster than my actual first lap. My first lap is normally a banker lap, but on this attempt actually, my first lap was better than my second lap. So going through my first lap with you guys today, and hopefully we can try and capitalise, as we obviously saw the incredible news about the implosion of the Ferrari team. And obviously with all this drama going around, we're going to have to probably find out more in the future. But I wonder if this is the reason that Ferrari failed to capitalise on what should have been a very easy season for them, and allowed us as Mercedes to do some more development work on our car and come ahead and clinch this championship. Only time will tell on that one. But we're coming around the final corner now here on our lap, and it's not actually a fantastic lap, if I'm perfectly honest. It only just pips Lando Norris in third pole position on a 1:17.141. On our final lap here, we're actually a little bit quicker in the final sector, but overall we just weren't really quite as clean. We ran deep in quite a few corners. I could definitely have improved to maybe a mid-16. That's sort of like quite a risky prediction there, but I think I was around about the mid-16 mark in qualifying. And also the one thing I actually forgot to say is for this race there are no replay cameras. There's only two that I managed to pick up. Reason for that is because as I was going through the replay cameras, my game just crashed. And then when I restarted the game, obviously it saved the race just ending, so that's a little bit of a pain. And I can't show the final race standings, because of course that would have happened when the game crashed, so that's annoying. But yeah, anyway, so it's going to be pretty much just on board with me today. But we're starting the Mexican Grand Prix. It's actually raining, so we're going to be doing a little bit of dry tires on a wet track challenge here at the Mexican Grand Prix. We've got 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go to start the Mexican Grand Prix off. It's actually been a good start for pretty much all of the top 4 drivers, all getting away nice and clean. And now it's a case of this long stretch down towards turn 1. We're up into rich mixture, and now we're following in the slipstream with Daniel Ricciardo here. We've got a great run on the Australian now coming in towards turn 1. We're going to brake sort of quite latest really, because we need to have to, but in fact that was actually a very clean move up the inside of everyone there and into the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix. But at the end of the day, what do you expect? Mexico is such a long drag down towards the first corner that it's anybody's game, and now it is myself ahead of Ricciardo, ahead of Lewis Hamilton in this Grand Prix as we now go in towards turn 3, trying to get used to the conditions. You can see they're very slow, very slippery, and these are the only 2 replay cameras I got, which was from Max Verstappen's little mini comeback. So off the start there, Verstappen actually lost out quite badly, got overtaken by one of the Red Bulls here, but that was actually Fernando Alonso, but Verstappen puts pay to Alonso getting in the way, and he goes down the inside here of Fernando and makes that move stick quite comfortably there. As you can see, Verstappen gets in front of Fernando, back up into 4th place. And then further on into the Grand Prix now, you can see Verstappen here is now attacking Lewis Hamilton, who's got DRS open. He actually closes the DRS, but goes towards the inside line here, down the inside, in towards turn 1. Hamilton and Verstappen, a little bit of contact there between the pair of them, but nothing too major there as they go now in towards 2 and 3. And Verstappen claims 3rd place, and now he can set his sights on his teammate and then myself front. Nice hiccup there in the middle of all of that. Brilliant. On to lap 9 of the Grand Prix now. We're coming in for our first pit stop of the Grand Prix as we knock over the bollard there in complete fashion. And now into the pits. Verstappen sets the fast lap of the race so far. So he's really got some incredible pace in the Ferrari. And as you can see, we're pitting for a fresh set of super soft tyres, committing to the two-stop strategy. There was no way I was going to attempt any form of one-stop in this race. The tyre wear was just horrible. And also, I felt like my tyre wear was a little bit worse than Ferrari's, mainly due to the fact of the poor the chassis in the middle sector and also in the final sector. Because obviously, in the first sector, it's just, well, straight lines, and this Mercedes-Benz is faster in a straight line than Ferrari, as you can see here, barge our way past Esteban Ocon. Sort of quite a little bit calm and collected. I thought it was actually a heavier barge than that, because I try and remember it, but it wasn't quite as crazy as I thought, as I completely bottled that corner there. Why I didn't get a warning, not really sure there, but that was a little bit silly. As we get in towards the turbulent air, though, of Giovinazzi, you can see that didn't help us out, running a little bit wide, but we'll just have to carry on as we are. And I'm in towards this corner now, in towards the final sector here. Sort of run a little bit off track there to Giovinazzi, but we sort of commit towards the inside line still trying to want to get these positions quickly, but Giovinazzi still fights this one. A little bit of bang in there, but we still managed to make the move stick. Very scruffy end to the lap though. That was, or pretty much scruffy half a lap to be honest, making a mistake there in the middle sector, turning into too early. That's one thing that I was compromised as well when you saw me cut that corner there. Turning in on this track, especially in the middle sector, very hard to judge where the best places are to turn in, as Verstappen there rejoins on ultra soft tyres in front, as I get a massive screen freeze in my actual game itself, which didn't really help us to have a look on Valtteri Bottas, but it's just a little bit too far back in towards turns 1 and 2 to have an attempt on Valtteri Bottas. But we've got DRS for a second time now, and with Verstappen on ultra soft tyres, that's a faster compound than mine, so I need to push hard now and try and stay in front of Verstappen. So we're going to go down the inside here on Valtteri Bottas in towards turn 4 there, and we make the move stick and make sure we don't turn in early for that corner, because I had really big problems during this circuit, especially, like I said, in the high-speed middle sector, of the best places to turn in, and then the best places to, that just in general, as we now go down the inside here as Charles Leclerc in towards the final sector here. Nice move down the inside, no problems with that, because there was sometimes when I was turning in too late for those corners, sometimes when I was turning in too early for the corners. It was really tough to judge. And obviously, the Mercedes-Benz aero and chassis is nowhere near as superior as Ferrari's this year, but of course Ferrari really seems to have lacked in engine development, as now we close up to the back of Stoffel Van Dorn here in the McLaren, and as you can see we go down the inside here off Stoffel, and that was quite a simple move there. Sort of put my car a little bit wider to not give him the opportunity to go back down the inside, and now we're up into third place. Pascal Wehrlein next up the road as we're just carving our way through the field here, and we're just making sure that we put at least one car in front of myself and Max Verstappen, because that then gives me the advantage and stops Verstappen taking pure advantage of those ultra soft tyres. You can see that he's dropping back, and now of course as he's about to overtake Stoffel Van Dorn in the McLaren, I'm about to go down the inside of Pascal Wehrlein, and Wehrlein actually puts up a nice fight there. I actually broke a little bit early in towards turn 1. I wasn't quite sure. I couldn't see the brake marker boards at the front, and as soon as I saw Pascal Wehrlein break that a little bit later, I just then decided to dip off of the brakes, add a little bit of throttle to it, and then eventually, as soon as my car was in front, slam on the brakes a little bit harder then. And as you can see now, we're behind Nico Rosberg, but this is what I mean by the Mercedes straight line speed that has been worked on throughout the entire season. I don't have DRS at this point. I'm over a second back before that straight, just closing up to the back of Nico Rosberg, and then just dumps it down the inside of Nico, and we're up into the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix. And yet again, Verstappen, who is closing into me, now has to deal with Nico Rosberg, and he'll probably be stuck behind him for the entirety of the middle sector. On to lap 19 in the Grand Prix now, and as you can see, the virtual safety car has actually come out. I believe someone retired from the Grand Prix, and that was a good time for me to pit and go onto a fresh set of tyres. Now this time I'm actually going for the soft tyres. Now why am I going for the soft tyres? Two reasons why I'm doing this. First of all, the tyre wear is a lot worse than I expected. Again, with this car not performing in the middle sector, the car is sliding a lot, which means that I can't really get maximum grip, and it means that I'm just wearing out the tyres a bit too much. Secondly, obviously, VSC. Let's pit under the VSC, get ourselves in front, and we just about stay in front of Carlos Sainz there. And obviously now we've got a lot longer, we pitted earlier, and the super soft tyres, they felt good, but they were definitely getting worn. And if I need to fight the Ferraris later on in the Grand Prix, if I'm using these soft tyres, it just means that I get to push that little bit harder, be that much more aggressive, and I feel that will work for me. And Verstappen has actually come in now for another set of super soft tyres. So in fact, Verstappen actually went ultra soft, super soft. So Ferrari, much better on their tyres than I was. I know Ricciardo has done ultra soft, super soft, super soft, so you can just tell the tyre compound differences and how mine is a lot worse here. So I now attack Lando Norris and go down the inside here in towards turn 4 now. And you can kind of see how it looks like on a POV perspective of me trying to make these maneuvers. And nice little bit of a bit of gameplay there now, as Fernando Alonso is next up the road on a set of ultra soft tyres now, but he gets out of the way. And on to lap 25 of the Grand Prix now, Verstappen is finally behind me now. He's been waiting for this opportunity pretty much all race long, and now is his chance here to have an attack on myself. And the two rivals throughout the entirety of this year are now going to go head to head here. Both of us are not going to be at our teams next year, so it's all about who's going to get the advantage. There's a little bit of contact there. Going in towards someone, I was too busy actually looking at my side-on perspective, which you would have seen, and didn't quite realise this car was that close in towards the corner. But now, as you can see, we power on. Verstappen, will he get a run with DRS? Now he's just dropped a little bit too far back. Lap 26, time to go again. Of course, Verstappen is no longer my championship rival, of course. It's actually Ricciardo who's my championship rival. And as things stand, we are going to be world champions if Ricciardo doesn't overtake Verstappen, and also doesn't overtake me for that matter. As we now head towards turn 1, Verstappen with DRS getting much, much closer. And he's going to have a little look towards the inside line of turn 1. I give him the room because he's just peeking there. And if I closed him off, contact would be made. And we don't want to have any contact here. But of course, Max Verstappen was the man who was pretty much in contention for the championship, apart from, of course, in the second half of the season, it all went downhill for him. And now, of course, Ricciardo has been doing so well that it's him that is now the contender versus myself. But as you can see there, Verstappen had another little look here on lap 28 now. Verstappen on the pit straight here. We're going to shove him quite wide now in towards the first corner. Going to give him a wide line, just like we normally do. And then in towards the first corner, braking a little bit earlier again than I anticipated. I don't want to outbrake myself and smash into any cars, especially in battles here. Verstappen chops me off there in towards turn 3. Sort of gives me a little nudge, cuts the corner slightly, and gives me a little bit of a barge there. Verstappen, DRS open, but again, tucking into the Citroen. Verstappen down towards the inside of turn 4. Again, braking a little bit earlier, a little bit of more contact there. Even more barging between the pair of us. We can't stop touching each other, and that sounds really wrong. As we now go in towards the double right-hander, and Verstappen claims the position, and he's up into the lead in the Mexican Grand Prix, but I'm still going to fight this one back in towards the middle sector, dive it towards the inside of the left-hander. That's an audacious play. Shouldn't see many moves there, but we brake harder into that corner and sort of compromised the line. And Ricciardo now is on the back of Verstappen as well, so great fighting between myself and Verstappen in that area. We really fought for that one, as once again now coming towards the end of the middle sector, start of the final sector now, you can see that we've sort of braked a little bit late, outbroke ourselves, run a tad wide there. Verstappen trying to go around the outside and towards the stadium section. You never see an overtake in the stadium section, and again warranting some space, but it's not really good enough for Verstappen. He won't get past there, and he'll have to wait and find a different opportunity to get past myself, because I'm not in the mood to give up any places in this Grand Prix. As we come onto the pit straight now, once again Verstappen will be in that DRS range, and he is going to have a lot of straight line speed. And there it comes now, opens up the DRS, flies through on the pit straight there, and he's going to go in towards turn 1. But once again, outside line is actually more beneficial for you in terms of defensive driving. I found in the Mexican Grand Prix, going towards the inside line, not really that good enough, especially if you're not as confident on the brakes. But onto the final lap of the Grand Prix now. Ricciardo has got in front of Verstappen. They had a good fight, which unfortunately, obviously with no replay cameras, I couldn't show you, but that cost them too much time. And now coming towards the final corner, rounding it for the checkered flag. That is the win at the Mexican Grand Prix, and that is also the World Drivers' Championship. Ferrari imploded, and it has all come home to Mercedes-Benz. Well, that was just a crazy Mexican Grand Prix, and of course, with me not having any replay cams and not able to show the final race results because the race crashed, kind of had to rush that little bit of an ending there, but it is what it is. We can sort of digest it now as we head into the championship. But we've got 2 races to go in the F1 season. We've got the Japanese Grand Prix and the Belgian Grand Prix. And with the gap between myself and now Daniel Ricciardo at 51 points, that means that if we crashed out of the next 2 races and Ricciardo won the pair of them, we would win the championship by 1 single point. For me, pretty much, as you can kind of see, Ferrari obviously imploded in the second half of the season. And overall, I just feel like Verstappen's poor run of form really cost the championship going down to the wire. This championship 100% would go down to the wire, but like I said in the last season, in the last episode, Verstappen has gone on like 4 races where he hasn't been higher than like 5th or something like that. So he's really cost himself, and with me winning all those races as well. Don't forget, Verstappen was leading the championship as soon as I crashed out in the Canadian Grand Prix. Verstappen took the lead in the championship, and then of course he then won the British Grand Prix, I think, unless Ricciardo may have won it. Verstappen still beat me then, so Verstappen was building a championship lead, and I've got ahead and started to chip that back. And then when Verstappen really lost out in the season, that's when I've just come through and taken every advantage I can, as my phone is buzzing away because in real life Ricciardo's just left Red Bull. But nonetheless, more drama around in F1. Apart from my team Ferrari imploding in the F1 journey, Ricciardo leads Red Bull in real life. Anyway, speaking of Ricciardo, he is 51 points back. Verstappen on 167 points. Hamilton now on 128 points. Could actually get closed down by Fernando Alonso by the end of the season. Alonso on a great run of form so far. Sainz on 88 points. Vettel on 77 points now. Lando Norris moving on to 60. Hartley didn't score. Verline got a point up to 36 points. Van Dorn now on 28 points, and also Sergio Perez on 23. And just to confirm for the next episode, because unfortunately I am away at the moment, Van Dorn and Perez is little rectangular signs to show which team they're from. They are actually incorrect. They've been swapped over, so that will be changed for the next episode. Gasly obviously didn't score, neither did Ocon, Leclerc, Bottas, and everyone else failed to score the points. Moving on then into the Constructors' Championship for the F1 season, Ferrari and Mercedes are still really, really close together. Despite the fact that Ferrari have obviously been doing so well this season, Mercedes have been chipping away at Ferrari's lead. The gap is now just 36 points to the championship, and with still 86 points up for grabs, anything can happen between Mercedes and Ferrari in the final two rounds. Red Bull are on 192 points and have confirmed themselves as third place in the Constructors' Championship. And there's no chance they can do any better. McLaren are on 88 points after a great points finish today with both Lando Norris and Stoffel Van Dorn picking up points. McLaren have jumped Audi in the championship, and this is massive as Audi and McLaren are fighting really hard now for that fourth place spot. Jaguar are starting to fall further back now. They didn't score any points today, and they really needed a good point scoring finish to have any chance of really catching up in the World Championship. And again, this is not going to happen, unfortunately. I think Jaguar are going to stay where they are. Same with Force India. I don't think they can catch Jaguar. It's a bit of a tough ask for them. And again, same with Williams Porsche. With all these points going up with Mercedes, Ferrari, taking the big points, and then Red Bull also coming in there as well. It's really small points that these teams are able to get. And I feel like there's just not enough left. BMW on 8 points. Renault still haven't scored a point, and it depends on if there's any crazy races. Will they ever get the chance to do so? But guys, that's going to be it for the F1 Journey Part 12. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, feel free to drop it a like, subscribe if you are new around here as well. And I will see you guys next week for the next episode of the F1 Journey, where we're going to try and find out a little bit more about Ferrari and see if anyone's willing to step up to the plate. Will there be any announcements? Will it all be kept quiet till the end of the season? Who knows? But until then, guys, take care all. Peace.